Signs of the Time is about the origins of baseball hand signals, particularly umpire hand signals.
It's a mystery story. It's kind of a whodunit, who invented umpire hand signals.
It's about how people can overcome adversity.
In telling that story, we can tell how the lives of people that lived 100 years ago still influence people today.
Well, our director, Don Casper, approached us several years ago just with the initial idea. I just happened to tell the story about this deaf ball player that he had learned about when he was working at the National Technical Institute for the Deaf. And even back then, I thought it was an interesting idea because it's something I had never really thought about. I'm always interested in those untold stories.
The initial thing that drew my interest was just, hearing the story of Dummy Hoy and how this character or person, 100 years ago had influence on something that everybody takes for granted. That was initially it, but then you add in the triumph over adversity. I mean, what this guy must have dealt with back to succeed in the major leagues in the 19th century was, I think, fascinating. I ended up following a group of deaf individuals to Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame induction in 1998. At the time, I didn't have the money to make the film or the resources to do it, so it just kind of like sat on the shelf for a few years.
Back in 2003, Don Casper, the director of the film, came to us with an idea, and he had that seed of an idea for this movie for years before. We all thought it was a great idea. We started talking about it and, really very quickly kind of developed into a very passionate project for all of us.
It was in 2005, we did our initial trip to Cooperstown. We went through all their files, what articles did they have on Hoy and Clem, what pictures were available.
Well, here we are at the Cooperstown Baseball Hall of Fame. It's August of 2005, and we're just starting the project. We're in the process of doing some research, and hopefully we're going to find some things that will inspire us to make a great film. There are really two central characters in the film, and that is Bill Clem and Dummy Hoy. These two characters created the opportunity for the obvious dramatic structure here, and that is to create conflict. And the conflict is between these two diametrically opposing personalities.
You kind of get nicknames in life, and you don't always pick your nickname, they're kind of given to you. And Dummy embraced his, where Catfish hated his. It really adds a yin and yang character structure to the film, which we thought would really drive it well.
Whereas Dummy Hoy's theme was a bit more heartwarming, Bill Clem's theme had to have a bit more attitude because that was Bill. He was all about attitude. And it really set off a nice contrast between the two characters and helped enhance the controversy between the two.
Now, as a writer, you want to show the true personality, the character of each one of these individuals. Well, how do you do that? Well, you got to go out and you got to find firsthand accounts of these people. And I found Clem to be the easier character to write about because there's still a lot of firsthand accounts about him, about his personal life exploits, about his personality, about his character. They come through old baseball players. We tried to find family members for Clem, but unfortunately Clem had no children. So really, his history ended with him. Now he has some nieces and nephews, but they have very vague memories of him. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have any Clem family members in the film.
One of the biggest turning points in the pre-production of the film was when we met Joan Hoy Sampson, and she agreed to be in the film, and that was a huge turning point for us because when Jim and I visited her, we weren't sure if we had a film yet. Once she was on board and agreed to open up her old photo albums of her grandfather and the family artifacts that she had, she lived with Dummy Hoy for a number of years as he grew older, so she had first-hand account of who this guy was, and that's what we wanted to show, to help tell the story. It gives it credibility, and it's a perspective nobody else has. Once we decided to do it, there was pre-production, there was shooting, there was post-production. All in all, the whole thing was probably about 3.5 years from when we decided to go for it. There was about 30 different production days strung out over the course of 2 years, and that included all the interviews with the ball players.
One way that we were able to keep the look consistent with shooting over such an extended period of time with all the interviews that we did was basically we shot it over black and utilized 2 lights, a key light and an edge light. But that gave us the ability to be able to travel on the road with the same lights, the same kit, and not get crazy about doing it. Keep it simple for the people that were shooting, so it was a little less intimidating.
Our first day of production was June 20th, 2006, and that was an interview with Bill Werber, who was just an incredible interview for us, and really gave us a good start, to the interview process for all the baseball heroes. It was on his 98th birthday. At the time, he was the oldest living member of Major League Baseball. It's amazing to me sitting down with him and him reflecting on events that happened, 70 years earlier? And all of a sudden, he's recollecting, okay, it's the top of the 9th, there's 2 outs, so-and-so's on 3rd, I'm at bat, and he rattles that off like it was yesterday. And I think that it was always amazing to me that you get a sense of their love of baseball because they remembered those events, and they were cherished memories for them.
This project was unique in the fact that the core people that worked on this have been working together for 20 years doing stuff like this for other people. This time we were able to work as a team. We were our own producers, directors, and camera people. So it was very easy to work with and around each other. Actually, we had a great time doing it.
Everybody was very much into it. Everybody did the very best that they could with it. It wasn't just a job. It was a very heartfelt project that everyone participated in.